Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how I did my zombie wounds with stuff I have around the house. This is a Halloween palette that I got from Target for $10. It comes with a little bit of colors. I think it's like cheap grease paint stuff. Some vampire blood, which I would actually not recommend you using because it dries and then flakes off. So get something else, but for this tutorial I'm going to use this. It also comes with the white cream makeup and this little spongy guy for putting blood on. I'm also using Q-tips for putting on the different makeup at the end, and some cotton balls. Toilet paper, the best thing to use is the 2-ply toilet paper. You'll see why later. I only need one sheet for a little wound, and Elmer's school glue. So let's get started. Let me put this here. Yay, okay. So I'm just going to make a wound just right here. So the first thing that I want to do is to just dab some glue on my arm. This stuff is perfectly safe for putting on your skin or on your face or wherever you want to put it. And if you don't believe me, go ask that kid in first grade that used to eat it. Okay. And then you put the toilet paper on the top, and you can just like rip off this extra stuff that you don't want, because usually you don't want a straight line like on the edges like that. So just rip off what didn't come. You can already see, hopefully you can see this right here, where it layered. That's kind of the effect that you want anyway. Okay, so that's basically the look I want. So I'm just going to get some more glue and put it over the top like that. And it doesn't really matter if it splits or anything, because you're going to split it anyway, you'll see. So once it starts like doing this in the side, that's okay. The thing that you do want to be careful of though is putting too much on, because the more you put on, the longer it's going to take to dry. Should have some zombie music playing in the background, or Thriller or something. Okay, so I've covered it with another layer of glue. So the next part, some people like let this dry and then use tweezers. I've seen that on some other videos, but I did not. So basically what you do is you kind of keep pushing it like this until it opens. See how it opened right there? And push more until it opens. See how it's a double layer right there? That's what you want. So you can make it as jaggedy as you want, or whatever like pattern that you want it to go into is fine. Like these pieces, little fuzzy pieces that come up, they're totally fine. Just leave it alone. And you can just play with this stuff over here so it doesn't look like, fabric, because right now it looks a little bit like, 2-ply textured. And just kind of sweep it to the outside or whatever, like squinched up. See how it's like squinching up like that? Look you want to get with it. And like I said, some people use tweezers. I just find that's kind of painful, especially for you guys that have really lovely arm hair right there. I'm assuming you want to keep that, so you don't need to use tweezers. You can obviously, look, your finger works just fine. So there's your wound. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah. So your wound will be in the middle part here, and then the rest of this is going to sort of blend into your skin. Like this is going to be all your bruised part on the side, and then you're just going to blend it into the rest of your skin. Okay. So, the rest of this that is still on my fingers, I'm going to get off. And the reason, some people use, like you can use hair gel for this, because it's clear, but this school glue is going to dry clear. But zombies are pale anyway, so it's not really going to matter if it's white, and plus, you're going to cover it with makeup in a minute anyway, so, you know, you don't really need to worry about the fact that you have this big white thing on your skin. Yeah. Okay, so next you have your beautiful cream makeup, and I'm just going to put some around like this. And if you're doing this like on your face, I would almost put your foundation on first, like your white zombie foundation on before you do this, at least around the area. That way you're not left with a lot of blending at the end. And since I'm just doing this for right now, I'm not going to make my whole arm white, but like as a zombie, your face is going to be gray or white anyway. So this is, you know, the color that it's going to be anyway. So when you get close to the toilet paper, if it's not dry yet, just be careful because you'll see it smudge when you do it. And if you kind of pat like this also, it gives it kind of a nice texture. Like if you've ever painted and you use like a rolly brush, it gives it a lot better texture than using a regular like paintbrush. So that kind of, you can see like here, gives it kind of a nice texture around like that. If you're doing this on your face too, you want to get some, I used it way too much. You want to get some like gray in there too. We'll do that later, but let's put the cap on this so it doesn't dry out. So after you're done, it should give you a nice blend in there. I hope my lighting is good for you guys because, I don't know, this camera is kind of silly, but yeah, there it goes. It gives it kind of a nice blend into the wound, so it doesn't look like all of a sudden I'm the skin color and have a white wound. Okay, so normally you would just let this dry. So it takes, I think the whole process last time I did it took me about a half an hour, and most of that was just drying time. So I'm going to keep going ahead because I don't know how to make a video stop and start like that. So here we go. I'm going to put the cap on my Elmer's glue. Still needed that for some other fun projects. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is you can use these sponges. They kind of suck. Well, these paints kind of suck anyway, but you know, they do the job, so you do what you can. But let me see how this is going to work. Okay. So you want to get a little bit there on your sponge, and then the only place you want to dab the red is right in the middle of your wound, because that's where somebody hit you and it's bloody and gross. So then it looks like that, and you don't worry about if you get a little bit over the edges like that. It's really not a big deal. And if you want, when you're doing this, you can like pop up the edges a little bit more so that it looks deeper than it is. You know, give it a little bit of texture. Okay, so after you do that, the blood is last, so don't get excited. That's the coolest part. But from here, all you really do is make it look like a wound, and so you pretty much start with like a blue and then go out to green and yellow. So feel free to fast forward because honestly this part takes a while, and it's just playing with it until you get what you need, what you like. And this is gonna suck because my stuff is not dry. So I'm just using a Q-tip because I feel like it's more hygienic than using the stupid sponges over and over again. But if it's your makeup kit, feel free to double dip and, you know, just have it however you want to play with it. And it just depends on what you prefer, on how far you want your bruise to go out. and you know, go back over it a few times with whatever colors you want to have, and you know, until it just looks right. So now I'm going to use some green, and like I said, this isn't going to look perfect because all my toilet paper is still wet from the glue. Sorry, that did not sound right. My wound, oh no! I got it, I'm good. My wound, the glue has not dried yet, so it's still a little bit like Christmassy looking right now, but that comes with just blending. And the green really helps. I wish I knew how to fast forward. I'm sorry, everybody. Please fast forward if you know how to fast forward. And then I use this like sort of a marigoldy color right here. This isn't actually an orange. I don't know if you guys can tell from this stupid thing, but this is like this one is like clown yellow. This one is sort of like more of a marigold sort of color, and then this one is an orange. And I used this marigoldy color because I feel like the yellow is just too bright. Okay, so the yellow pretty much goes out to the rest of your wound. And that's kind of what makes it like that final, you know how your bruises get all that like gross yellowy color at the bottom? Yeah, that's this. And I mean, I know it looks a little like rainbowy right now, but you kind of keep putting the layers on, and then it will go away. And you guys can see there's like this piece right here is kind of a big like chunk. You're welcome to like put a little bit more blood under there, or like a little bit of red, and that will make those like chunky pieces stand out like you really got hurt. So just be careful. If your TP isn't dry yet, it's going to tear like mine almost just did. And you can blend the yellow up also. This also really works a lot better if you use girls, your eyeshadows, if you have these funky colors, because you can use a more like purpley blue, and that really looks nice layered over and over again. It makes it look like a bruise more. And so the last part, the last thing that I do is I put, well, you can go over this as many times as you want to kind of get, it's really, I'm not happy with this one because my stuff's not dry yet, but you can go over and over with it again just to get the shading that you want, because right now it kind of looks like a map. So the last thing that I usually do is get this fabulous thing again, and then put some gray on here, and it just kind of makes everything darker. And because zombies are supposed to be dirty, right? Actually, you know what, if you want to too, go get some dirt and like rub it on here too, and that would be pretty cool. But it kind of like has the resemblance of like skin, you know, kind of like folded over. It's really gross. So the gray just kind of like muted everything, because there were some circus colors going on in there. We don't really need to have that. Zombies don't do circus. So the other thing I did too was I added a little bit of this like plummy purple. Just be careful with this one, because too much and your wound just goes overboard into yuck land. You just need like a little bit of the purple, and just make sure you blend it really well. You don't want to go that much into the yellow with this purple. So it just makes it look a little bit more like a bruise. That's much better. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a little bit more gray. A little bit of gray on the inside too. And then the other thing you can do too, if your wound isn't like as deep as you want, and feel free to use like two things of toilet paper, 2 papers, just to make your wound a little bit deeper, or you can just like play with it, you know, like pull it up a little bit more so it's deeper. But if you didn't get that effect and that's what you want, you can just use a little bit of black on the edges like that, because this one just didn't go that deep like I wanted it to. And you just kind of put that on the edges just to give the illusion of depth. And like this with the purple, just be careful because you can go totally overboard so quickly. So it's more just a little bit of a shade, and you can go back too and like shade some of your, if you have these extra little pieces that are going on, if you want to shade like the under parts of them so they just look a little bit grosser. Just be careful if your stuff is still wet like mine. It gets a little bit, doesn't like you after a while. Okay, so my wound is done. Gross. Multi-dimensional, that's exactly what we want. Feel free to go, hey, how about if we look at it the right way? Feel free to go as far out with the bruising part as you want to. That just makes it, you know, look as big or as small as you want to. Or like the picture that I posted a few days ago was like 2 wounds. I used 1 piece of toilet paper and just ripped it in 2 different areas. So you can definitely do that too. So let me put this back down. So the best part about this is getting gory. So vampire blood, like I said, this stuff, I was not happy with it. It dries and then it flakes and it's gross. So I would definitely recommend using something else like the gel blood or bucket of blood or anything else that you can find except this dollar stuff. So for the first part of it, I put a big gloopy in the center. Be careful because this stuff comes out really fast. Just put some in the center, and if your wound is deeper, like if the edges of the toilet paper are higher, you can like pile this stuff up in here, but then you have to sit here like this while it dries a little bit. So then you take your super special spongy sponge and kind of move it around inside your wound. Look, it's already trying to get out. Just to make sure that you fill up that little like canyon that you made out of toilet paper. I'm sorry I don't have a better angle on this, but I only have 2 hands. So once you fill up your canyon, let me get you a better angle. fill up your beautiful canyon. I'm sorry about the lighting again. There, that's better. Fill up your canyon. Then you can get put more on your little sponge and dab around the outside, and it will hide some of those carnival colors that you've got going on. So let's do that. So I put it like directly on my little spongy. Just be careful again because it comes out really fast. And you just kind of like dab it around like that. Because no wound is a perfect circle. And this spongy thing just kind of makes it like, makes the blood so it's not like in a straight line, whereas if you were to, I don't know, take a Q-tip and dab it on here, it would be very precise little circles that you would have, and that just doesn't look normal. So this is kind of, you just get it all over. There's no, you can't do wrong with blood. So the last part is, let me show you. There's your, I'm sorry I keep turning the camera. There's your end with putting blood around the outside. So then the last part is the fun drippy part. So depending on which way you want your blood to drip, that is the way you hold your hand. So, or your body part, whatever. So I want my blood to drip this way, so I'm going to hold my hand like this, and I'm just going to put it on here and then turn the camera so you can see. So I'm going to put a drop on here like that. And then you turn your hand. Sorry, the lighting sucks. And there it goes. Gross. And feel free to do this as many times as you want, and so that you have as many like drippies as you want. Like I said, if you use this blood, it's going to dry. So in about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, you will have just dry blood flakies. And I think a little bit of a red stain underneath. So please go buy some other kind of blood. This one is just not nice. So anyway, I'm going to let that stop. You can let that go as far as you want it to go. I'm sorry about the camera, you guys. Let that go as far as you want it to go. Put as much blood on there as you want. As much like goop as you want. But it looks pretty disgusting. So that's what we wanted. And it looks like I just got bit by a zombie. So, yay. I'm ready to go flash mom to Thriller now. Awesome. Thanks, guys.